Matt LaFleur, Packers coach, talking about the trade of Davante Adams to NFL media, said, Matt LaFleur, sometimes you got to make some tough decisions. Certainly appreciate everything Davante brought to our team. I mean, he's the best receiver in the NFL, so that was a tough one for me personally and for our organization. Certainly he's a guy that's going to be tough to replace, yada, yada, yada. You never want to let great players like that walk away from the team. Okay, fine, I get it. So why'd you do it? I mean, of course that's what you're going to say. Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Why didn't you offer him the money 5 months ago? How did we get to this point? Look, here's the problem. We're going to get a lot of the pre-planned, canned BS from coaches who were involved in some of these moves. I want to drill down a little bit. Like, how could this have been avoided? Why wasn't it avoided? Right. I don't think we're going to get that kind of candor from Matt LaFleur. No. I'd love to hear it.
No.
Could it have been avoided? Where's Goody Coons? Could it have been avoided?
That's
What's your regret here?
Right.
Do you have regrets?
Yeah,
you know,
I'm with you. I mean, that to me, though, it goes to the second name you said there. You know, again, this is different than the 49ers, where we can look at Kyle Shanahan and go, no, he has full power. He's the GM. He's running the show there, so that's understandable. LaFleur, we know, is not. This is not his department. You know, contract negotiations, get that started in the middle of the year, sign them up now, guys, do all of that. You know, I'm sure there's conversations and they talk there, but that's not his department of business. He just coaches the football team. You know, as we've seen, I mean, as we know, they freaking tried to trade up and get a quarterback without telling their head coach. I mean, it caught him by surprise, too, by all due accounts. Anybody you listen to in the NFL, you know, maybe he knew a few minutes before they actually made the pick, but it was all news like to him when that was going down. So I think that says something to it. And I think, Mike, you've been saying this since last week. That's really the million-dollar question, is just like, why didn't you offer him this kind of deal in October and just get it done with? You know, you probably could have offered him less money than this and got it done, and he would have said yes. So that's where I don't get, and that's where, you know, again, we're questioning Green Bay's business style for another offseason here. It just doesn't make sense all the time.
Especially when Aaron Rodgers was very carefully persuaded to come back, and now his top weapon is gone. He said himself, I don't want to be part of a rebuilding effort. And look at his receiving core. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, gone. Why didn't you sign him?
I don't get that either.
Davante Adams, I'm curious about that.
Right.
Buy low, sell high.
Right.
Get him while you can. That's all they got left right now. It changes every show because another guy gets removed from the list.
Right. I mean, it is. Alan Lazard is clearly their best receiver. Randall Cobb, I mean, it's 375 yards of receiving, 5 touchdowns. Yeah. Okay, great. Hurt for a number of games.
But he's buddies with Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
I mean, it's just insane, though. I mean, yes. And then here we are, Green Bay. Maybe they can draft some receivers. It's certainly a good class. There will be plenty available there at the end of the first round. I know that, as I've been studying them all last week, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to replace Davante Adams. We talked about this last week. It's a little special niche they had with him and the relationship Rodgers and them had. So much of their offense is predicated on that connection. That's where I look at it differently and just go, man, Green Bay, it's great. They're a good football team. They're a nice playoff contender this year. They are officially out of the Super Bowl contention with no Davante Adams. Out of it. No way.
Here's what's amazing to me, too. I saw over the weekend some talk that maybe the Packers are going to get involved and make a play for DK Metcalf. Well, why would they? Why? They made no effort to get Tyreek Hill. They ultimately failed to keep Davante Adams. Why in the world would they try to get DK Metcalf knowing that he's going to want to be paid as much
next year,
as Tyreek
right?
Hill and Davante Adams?
Right.
You could have just kept Davante Adams.
I don't know. I know.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
It makes no sense at all.
No, it makes no sense. And the Marquez Valdez-Scantling thing, I think you look at that and just go, wait, I don't get that either. You don't got that much talent on your roster. Not that he's like a superstar number one, but he's a scary number 2, number 3 receiver who can fly. He's 6'4" and runs 4.3. There's not a lot of those guys out in the NFL there. So he's out the door too. I mean, it's just, it's a head scratcher to me with the way they approach things up there in Green Bay.
Peter King in Football Morning in America tries to reconcile the Juju Smith-Schuster contract with the Marquez Valdez-Scantling contract. And I still haven't seen the details on Scantling, so there's a chance there's some BS baked into it. But it looks on the surface to be a much better deal than Juju's. And why? Well, because Scantling was caught in a tug-of-war between the Chiefs and the Packers.
Sure.
I mean, it's, Juju, and again, I know all's fair, but you know damn well the Chiefs had a pretty good idea they were going to trade Tyreek Hill when they got Juju Smith-Schuster at a base salary of $3.25 million. If Juju knows Hill's out the door, he puts his thumb on the scale. It's good business.
Yeah.
So, that's why the Packers should have gotten MVS done before Adams was traded. And that's why he's getting the deal that he got, because the Packers needed him. The Chiefs needed him. He was in a great spot, and he maximized his return. Good for him.
He did. It did, exactly. And you talked about this last week a little bit too, with like Juju Smith-Schuster, how he's a number 2 or a number 3 receiver, and that really came to light when Antonio Brown was off the roster. He was a different player when Antonio was there, and we saw, oh, wait, now the spotlight's on you, and he wasn't that guy. It's a really good football player, Juju Smith-Schuster, does everything good. But, to something you're talking about and kind of button this up, Marquez Valdes-Scantling has something he does at an elite level. It's rare, and you're kind of paying for potential too. Again, a guy that's that height and can run like that, there's just not that many of them out there in the NFL. So there is a little bit more of a markup price tag there for that. Because of, and again, I think then you add on to what you're talking about. It's Green Bay, it's Kansas City, and a little bit of a bidding war. That helps them out. So I think between that and the fact that it's a guy that, has got 3 rockets up his butt and can fly, and then, of course, is big too, that adds to his price tag over a guy like Juju, where it's like, hey, we kind of know what he is. He's good at everything, but not great at anything.
But why did it never become
I don't know. I know.
Why did the potential never become the production in 4 years in Green Bay? That's what I'm confused about.
Right. It's close. It seemed like it was close, to getting there at times this year. It was. He kind of got injured and banged up when he was kind of getting hot and getting a part of the offense. He can drop the ball at times. That can be a little bit of an issue too. But I think he was kind of finding his groove here. And I think that's kind of what Kansas City's paying for, is a guy that they think like, okay, wait, we think he just got over the hump and now is going to become a football player and have a real, part in this offense. But yeah, I think, that question you have, Mike, is real. He is maybe a little bit of a straight liner, a little bit of like, hey, that's what he does. You're not going to have him run underneath routes or some of those intricate detail things. That's not his game. So, again, maybe that's why he fits better in Kansas City than, Green Bay, where it's route running and read this coverage and do the route this way off this coverage, and if it's that coverage, run it this way. Whereas we talk about Kansas City, it's just like, hey, fly to that back corner 70 yards over there, and he'll throw it to you. And then the next play, fly over there to that big fat coach over in the red mustache, and we'll throw it to you over there somewhere. And that's the difference in their offense, and he fits that style more, certainly.
When you look at his 4 years of statistics with the Green Bay Packers, there's one number that really stands out among the others, and it is his average per reception in 2020, 20.9 yards per catch.
It's explosive.
In 2020.
Yeah.
You got people saying, oh, the Chiefs' offense is going to be very different. They're not going to you got a guy that runs a 4.3 that's that size, and he averaged 20.9 yards per catch in 2020. I think that's what sold the Chiefs on Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Last year, he missed 6 games due to injury, and he still averaged 16.5 yards per catch.
Yeah.
But he wasn't himself like he was the prior year. Hey, it dawned on me on Friday's PFT Live. When you were in your hammock with your mismatched head and feet, your feet are tan, your head's not, and you got your pina colada and your blunt. I know what the Packers should do. They won't do it, but I know what they should do. I know who they should trade for.
Who's that?
Chase Claypool.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw you write an article, right, over the weekend or something about you.
I may have mentioned that he's a guy
Chase Claypool,
disgruntled guy somewhere else.
Right.
Because you think he's going to be happy with Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback? Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, it could be a different year, certainly, but Pittsburgh ain't going to let him out of there easily. I mean, that's a freaky guy, like we've talked about. He's got superstar potential for sure. I'm sure they want to keep him for the next quarterback too. And, of course, he'll make life easier on Mitchell Trubisky. But I know what you meant by that scenario, that kind of receiver, that kind of situation. Maybe they could trade for it.
I remember last year, one of the folks who covered the Steelers, I think it was Jerry Dulac of the Post-Gazette, said something along the lines of Chase Claypool exhibiting some diva tendencies already. And remember the goofy first down celebration that derailed their effort
against the
late
Vikings.
In that Thursday night game against the Vikings. And we've seen how Mike Tomlin can manage difficult personalities and the different things he does. If they're looking at the writing on the wall, we see what's happened with the receiver market, with Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill. We see where the numbers are going. We know how good they are at finding young receivers in the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, they had figured it out before anyone else that you can get a lot of guys in the draft and not have to pay them a lot of money. I mean, if the Packers want to make them a strong offer for Chase Claypool, maybe you huff and puff about it, but at the end of the day, you move on. And from the Packers standpoint, it's great because they can't give him a contract until after this year.
Yeah, right.
He can't have a contract until he finishes his third regular season. So you're not going to get it. You're going to get your year with Aaron Rodgers. You go all in, and you worry about Chase Claypool's contract next year. But at least for now, you've filled that need with something other than a rookie that you're rolling the dice on. Because even though we got plenty of great receivers that are coming to the NFL every year, some of them still end up not being very good.
That's right.
They're taking a hell of a risk that they're going to draft a guy who Aaron Rodgers says, where the hell did you find this guy?
Yeah, agreed. It's still a roll of the dice. Roll of the dice, let alone we know Rodgers is, it's not easy getting in the trust tree with him or the circle of trust and having him comfortable to, feel, okay, I can depend on this guy. He's going to run the right route and sit in the right part of the zone coverage and all that. We know that you don't earn that trust easily from Rodgers. That's where, it's a huge move for their football team, the fact that they lost Davante Adams. And, yeah, even though you said it, Mike, there's some good rookies here. They're not going to fill Davante Adams' shoes in year one and be able to do some of the intricate things Rodgers would expect of Adams to do, on a down-by-down basis.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.